Good morning, gang. Happy Saturday morning. Well, oldie but a goodie here. Remember the Nashville shooting about a year ago or so? Audrey Hale, the girl that thought she was a guy. And where's the manifesto and yada, yada, yada. Well, apparently the Tennessee Star got about 4 pages of it, okay, and published it last night. Kind of interesting to read. I'll link it below if you really want some good morning reading with your coffee. But it brings up a point, what happened, okay, and what can be done about it. Now, how many times after we hear of shootings, we don't need prayers, we need action, because everybody, you hear the comments out of politicians, oh, our prayers are for the family and the families of the victims. And then the Democrats are like, we don't need prayers, we need to do something. I'll agree with them. We do need to do something, okay? This isn't a new video I'm about to show you, but I want you to pay attention to it. This is from a couple of months ago.
Hartford's North End on Saturday.
We are legally armed! Legally armed, and we're patrolling!
A group of people look to patrol and clean up Garden Street.
It's important to come out here because we believe that we have to keep the community safe, we have to keep the community clean, and we're doing this by being out here for a few hours, cleaning up the community, picking up the trash.
Garden Street has seen its share of gun violence, including a double homicide in February, which is what prompted the push for civilian armed patrols.
The people on Garden Street came to us and asked us for help.
While there did not appear to be open carry, which is banned in Connecticut, organizers previously told us those armed would be licensed and have concealed weapons. They were part of Minister Cornell Lewis's self-defense brigade.
We are not vigilantes. We are a group of people that are disciplined, who train, who go to the shooting range.
The effort faces opposition, including from an anti-violence group and the Hartford mayor. Mayor Arunan Aralampalan wrote in part, "Our community has seen so much pain and trauma, and what we need is for those who love this city to do the hard work of healing that pain." The mayor added that the city did not need people being trained to walk the streets with guns and trying to take the law into their own hands.
Can anybody go to the gun range?
Earlier, there was a talk about gun rights, including how to get a permit, safe storage and carry, and personal use. The founder of the brigade says they plan to do the patrols a few times a week.
We'll be patrolling at night. So it's not just a one-time thing. It's going to be on a consistent basis.
Hartford, Connecticut. Deep blue Connecticut, okay? Hartford, Connecticut is a crime-ridden city. The crime rate in Hartford is 31% higher than the national average, okay? They have one of the highest murder rates per capita in the country. 31 murders per 100,000 residents, okay? How many times have we heard defund the police, right? As the guy says in here, cops show up. Most of the time they can't do anything. Would you walk through the streets of the inner city in the middle of the night? Probably not. Why? It's dangerous. Okay. Here we have a bunch of people, note their color, who are willing to walk through the streets at night, very dangerous streets, to protect their town. I wonder how these people politically align. I wonder if they're for banning the Second Amendment. They're living shit hits the fan. 31 murders per 100,000 people every year. Okay. It's a lot. What would you do if you came into a scenario like this, and I'm not trying to stoke racism or anything like that, because if you've been around here long enough, you pretty much know where I stand. We all bleed red, okay? If I see somebody out walking the street, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Indian, whatever, with a gun, most of the time I'm going to be pretty happy to see that, because that's somebody that's at least taking care of themselves. And chances are, in a critical situation, they're going to be taking care of other people. Now again, it also doesn't mean that black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Indian walking down the street with a gun doesn't plan on going robbing the bank on the corner. However, this group, this church group, okay, I want you to understand that part, okay, is taking matters into their own hands to protect their own neighborhood from an SHTF event. And as he said in there, they train, they go to the range. The minister who leads this church has trained all of these people in hand-to-hand combat. Their objective isn't to go out and play high noon on the streets in the Old West and start shooting people. No, their objective is to go out and get video evidence of crimes being committed, to turn over to the police, who won't do anything, to get these people prosecuted. Unfortunately, you have a bunch of Soros DAs who won't prosecute. This is a good start. I commend the people of Hartford that are putting this together, that are doing this. More and more neighborhoods, more and more cities, I mean, a borough in New York, or your block in the city, your neighborhood needs to pay attention. As they keep defunding the police, as police more and more and more become report writers and not crime fighters, somebody's got to stop this. I'm not dogging the cops at all. Their hands are tied by politicians, by liberal politicians who don't want to pay them to do the job, by attorneys that don't want to prosecute the criminals when they do the job, and by the risks they have to take because the court system has now decided that the criminal has more rights than the cop or than the citizens. You know, where the cops have to worry about, oh my God, they're going to sue me if I do my job. No, it shouldn't be like that. These people right here are handling it the only way left. And this is what's going to come to the whole country eventually. As police forces get smaller and smaller, as crime continues to go up and up, we are going to have to handle this ourselves. As we have 10 million plus illegals, mostly criminals, coming across the southern border. I mean, come on, the first act that they did in the United States, the very first step they took was committing a crime, okay? Not that some of them don't want to come here and better their lives. Most of them don't. Most of them are like, how can we steal from the government? How can we go kill people? I mean, I remind you of every day some story about some Venezuelan gang member raping or murdering somebody. I remind you the story about the Somali story that I told you the other day about $250 million in money stolen, yada, yada, yada. Pick one, okay? Let alone all the military-age males that are coming across. We, as a country, as American citizens, need to protect what's ours. Everybody else is out there wanting to take what's yours. What are you willing to do to protect what's yours? If somebody comes up in your driveway this morning and says they're going to take your car, what are you going to do? Call the police? That might get you somewhere, okay? They ain't gonna find your car. Unfortunately, Tony Soprano isn't out in the street somewhere where he can go get a hold of a couple of his buddies to track it down and find your car. That ain't gonna happen. So what are you going to do? These people have an idea. Will there be repercussions from this? Oh yeah, there's people that are against it. You know, your anti-2A people. Of course, the mayor of the city, obviously uber blue, is against this. You know, they're more than happy for crime to run rampant as long as it doesn't come to them. NIMBY principle, not in my backyard. The people can go kill each other all they want and steal and rob. Just don't do it to me, is the politician's way. I've got places to hide, right? I've got security for me. What about security for me? Who's my security? Who's the security for my neighbor who's in their 70s? Maybe they're not quite as mobile as I am. Okay. Get out, get organized, get trained, go to the range, improve your accuracy, improve your speed on multiple weapon platforms, and take a lesson from these people. Pinball out.